Hello, I'm Paula from Tonic Studios. I'm here at Scrapbook.com to tell you all about the Embellishment Mousse. There are 24 different colors of the Embellishment Mousse from Nuvo, and you have got from pastel to beautiful intense metallic to softer metallics, as well as this beautiful pearlescent hotter shades of teals and pinks, as well as lime greens. So you have got colors for every occasion. When you get the Embellishment Mousse, you're gonna open the lid and you are gonna see this film in here. So I take a spatula or something sharp to just open it up in one side and then just remove the film and then take it away and discard. Just make sure, because it is a water-based product, that you always put the lid back on when you are not using it, otherwise it can dry out. So I'm going to show you a few of the many things you can do with the Embellishment Mousse. The first thing you can do with the mousses is use it with a stencil. So I'm going to put it over a piece of card and I'm securing it with low tack tape, and I'm taking my spatula and then start at the top and just put the embellishing mousse through the stencil. Now I can go with one color or I can go with a second color as well, and I can create my own ombre effects. So I have got here this beautiful gunmetal gray. The excess I can always put it back into the pot. Then I take a baby wipe or a paper kitchen towel to clean my spatula, and I can take a second color. So say for instance the black ash. Again, this one hasn't been used. Take it and take a little bit of the darker color, so you can see how they will blend in through the stencil and create in between a beautiful different shade. Put back the excess and then put the lid back on. Clean the spatula, and then you can see the beautiful kind of effect, metallic, because they all have got that mica powder in them that makes them shimmering and pearlescent. So this is one of the ways that you can use the embellishing mousse. Other ways that you can use the embellishing mousse is on your embossed card that I have embossed with using one of the Tonic embossing folders. So I put some in my Easy Clean mat and then dab it off with my finger and then just go over it to highlight that gorgeous embossed detail and suddenly transforming that gorgeous pattern and making it into a much more highlighted effect. Now the same color on the white is going to offer a completely different effect, because obviously they have got, as I would say, an opaque or semi-translucent nature, so the color underneath it will show a little bit, but of course still will retain the shimmering qualities of the mica in the Embellishment Mousse from Tonic. Also, because although they are water-based, they will dry on plastic. So here I have got a cheap frame from one of these cheap stores, and I want to highlight a little bit of the detail. So I can go either with my finger or say with a makeup sponge and add a little bit more of detail onto my embossed design on the frame. It will dry on the plastic as well as obviously the non-porous surfaces. Other things we can do with the embellishing mousse is, for instance, I have got here a little bit of balsa wood. Now I want to convert this one that hasn't been treated at all. I want to completely change the color, and I'm going to take with a dry brush and dipping it directly into the embellishing mousse, and completely with a dry brush just paint it over the untreated balsa wood, and it could be any type of wood that you have got, even those ones that are slightly varnished, and you can see how you kind of transform completely in seconds. And the best thing is it will dry very quickly as well. Now I have got here some of the cosmic brown, so I'm gonna put it a little bit on the side of my Easy Clean mat, and that way I can mix it up with the gunmetal that I have got here to create even a different kind of colors and blend them all together to create a beautiful ombre effect. And there you have, in very few seconds it will be completely dry, so I will be able to start my other techniques on top of this piece of wood. Another way that I like to use the embellishment mousse from Nuvo is to use to color in my images. So I'm going to take a water brush and the aqua flow, and then I'm going to take, I have got here the hot pink, and I'm going to put a little bit on my side of my Easy Clean mat. So as you can see, I'm coloring in, and it will be a watercolor with a difference because it will have the shimmering powder that is incorporated into the embellishment mousse. Now I'm going to clean it a little bit with the brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of the green and a little bit of the pastel green, and then take it in and then color in the little leaves, so you can create your custom colors blend in here. What we have done in this aqua flow, the water brush, we have diluted some of the embellishment mousse, this one is the cornflower blue, into water, and the same way we have done before with the light mist, and then we have shaken it well and filled the reservoir in here. So now I have got a water brush that has got that beautiful pastel-y shade with the shimmering mica that contains with a shimmering mica that is in the embellishment mousse. So I can go in, for instance, with this image that I was starting to color in, and add beautiful detail in the background. So it will create a softer effect than if I go directly onto the embellishment mousse. And remember, you can mix and match your own embellishment mousse and create your own custom blends. Another way of using the embellishment mousse from Nuvo is to use our dual brush and dab it in, and it's a hard bristle in here, so use it like a distress paint directly onto the edges of the card. So that will give you an effect that is going to be slightly different than if you use a makeup sponge or a dabbing sponge or any other medium. So you can see how quickly and easily I'm adding a distress effect all over 4 edges of the card, but it will be a distress effect with that gorgeous shimmering detail. Another way of using the embellishment mousse is to place the stencil over the paper or card, secured with low-tack tape, and use the dual brush and then dabbing it through the stencil, and that will create a slightly different effect than using a spatula. That will be more like a paint rather than a raised paste as we have done before. So now I can go with another color, say for instance I'm gonna go with the black ash to create a little bit of a contrast. So I use the other end in here, and gently I go in for some areas, in certain areas, to create those different effects. And then when I lift it up, you can see that it's not as raised as the when I went through the spatula, through the stencil. One of my favorite ways to create a background quick and easily, but with a lot of shimmering and color, is using the embellishment mousse. So I'm gonna start by using the citrus green, and I'm gonna go with the spatula, and I'm just gonna dab it directly, like multi-directional, thin coats onto the card. Now I'm gonna put the excess back on, close the lid. Now I'm gonna go clean my spatula. I don't want to cross-contaminate colors. And then going to go with that gorgeous teal, and then just mix them, fill in kind of the blanks in between, and just I like to go into horizontals and verticals rather than go diagonals, and that creates a gorgeous background that it mixes the colors a little bit and creates a little bit of texture as well, because the embellishment mousse, it will dry with that, all that definition in there as well. I'm going to put a little bit in vertical in there. And finally, to add a little bit more of detail, I'm going to go with the black ash. So clean my spatula, and then just put a little bit, a tiny amount is all I need to add a little bit, another dimension in here. Of course, you can do this technique with all of the 24 different colors. Just choose colors that kind of sit nicely together, say like beside each other in the color wheel, like the greens and the blues, or the pinks and the reds, and then add a contrasting color like the black one. Now once that this is dry, you can die cut, put it or cut it around it, and will create a fantastic modern inspired background. And once you have it finished, you can cut it around it, rip it up, and then maybe put it onto the card like so, with a beautiful sentiment around here to create that kind of texture and colorful background with beautiful shimmering detail. Have you ever wanted to transform a beautiful piece of lace into a colorful one, into one that shines through? So with the embellishment mousse, you can do that. Now I'm going to take a makeup sponge, and I'm going to take an embellishment mousse and then just dab it in, and you can see how I'm going to completely change the color in a very quick and easy way, but adding that amazing concentration of color in here. And of course, because it's lace, I will still have the beautiful detail that the lace had in there. So you will be able to see in a few seconds the transformation. So from white to that beautiful pink lace. And of course, you can do this with any type of ribbon. I love my texture cards. This one is from Craft Perfect from Tonic Studios, but sometimes I want to add an extra dimension to the card. So I'm gonna take a similar color in the Embellishment Mousse, and then I'm gonna take a makeup sponge and dab the Embellishment Mousse through, and then I completely transform that matte finish into a pearlescent shimmering textured card. Of course, I can go with another color if I want to completely change the look. So I'll use another side of the sponge, and I'm using the pure platinum to change the color of the card. And still the texture is retained. If I have just white card and I want to change it, I can go with save the same pink and then go in and dab it gently. Now you can see here that is slightly softer tone. If I wanted to make a little bit darker, using this exact same Embellishment Mousse, I can just dab a second coat, but just dabbing it, I will add more of a rougher texture into it. And this is a different way of using the Embellishment Mousse from Nuvo.